How's it going, everybody? I guess I'm going to do a after action review of the Crappie Bash. It was pretty good for numbers of fish for me. So, kind of screwed up. Funny story. On Saturday morning, my boat was gone. So, shout out to Tim and everyone that helped out to locate it. And if you do go out pre-fishing, make sure you tie it up after you put it on the lift, because things happen to your lift, which I found out. So, don't start your tournament off like that, first of all. Next, I fished a lot of the areas I knew I could catch fish in, and I really got dialed into some big ones on the live scope. I could not get them to react to commit to the bait. So I wound up catching a lot of keepers on Saturday and Sunday, and they just didn't work out for a big one. My big one on my scales were 119, so I went ahead and went up to Ivy Bend and weighed that one in. Their scales, it was 113. Probably nothing wrong with their scales whatsoever. It's just me having a 119 that gave me the confidence that I could probably sneak into the money with it. With the 113, that was kind of like the fine line between getting a check or not. So that 1.21, 1.2, you really needed one that big to get a check. So I made the commitment. I went up there. I didn't stay up there and fish. I probably should have. I probably should have tried out Rainy a little bit, maybe somewhere around Proctor, but I just came back down. I fished from the 47 to the 50 mile marker and stayed in my little area. And I just had fun with it. I didn't have anybody fishing with me. Just got in because randomly off the docks around there, we usually catch a 15 and sometimes a 16 incher. Most of the ones that we were catching were post spawn, so we just didn't have any that would weigh that much. As far as baits go, it's all the same stuff. It's not too exciting. I think if you get a bait that has a paddle tail, like a Kitech or some kind of any bait with a moving tail on it, this really seemed like they wanted something moving. Now I stuck with live scoping and dropping on them on dock brush. Some brush a little bit away from the dock, but mostly under the shade, especially after the sun got out. And I was just dropping on them, so the tail didn't really matter to me as much. But I can see where if you have something with some movement, you could dock shoot and then reel it in, and that would probably work a lot. That's just based off the reaction that I could tell that they didn't want it just sitting there. They wanted it moving. So you had to get their attention and then really move that bait up or over and up and over. And then they would come up to it and then they would hit it about halfway up to the top. So you had to have it moving, get them committed, and then move them up, and then they would grab it. But we've been fishing a lot around where I fished at, so I think they're pretty pressured, especially the big ones, obviously. But that's the way it goes sometimes. We really had a good time. There was a lot of people weighing in at Ivy Bend, so it was better to weigh in earlier than the end of the hour. And then when you went to, anywhere to eat or anywhere to go fish, really, it wasn't too crowded. It wasn't bad at all, even with all the other activities on the lake. So all in all, it was a good weekend. I think, it's the same old stuff, that 1/16 ounce jig, your Southern Pro tubes, your Bobby Garland baby shads, something with some chartreuse in it right now is working really good in that dirty water. So, a crappie nibble always enhances, but you don't have to have it. But all in all, it was a good weekend to be out. The weather's great. Got to watch some storms coming through now. And I think we're going to have more and more and more post-spawn crappie to catch. So dock shooting, brush piles. You know, I graphed some as deep as like 22 feet. I didn't do very well out there. It seems like 10 feet, 12 feet was really my go-to range. That was working for me. So kind of disappointing on the money side, but I wound up started throwing them in the box because you can only have like 3 in your boat. So I don't know how this works. I would catch my 3 that were small, and then I'd put them at the dock, you know, so I could put them in. I could clean them later, and then I would just keep 3 in the boat. And by Sunday afternoon, I was just throwing them all in there. I was done. So wound up cleaning a lot of crappie. So it's not that difficult to go out and get your limit right now, especially if you like those 10 and 11 inchers. You know, seems to be kind of the same story all over the lake. So no money. Thanks for the help on Saturday morning, guys. Hope to catch some more crappie this weekend during Memorial Day, but I'll probably just stick around the dock. I'm not going to get out too far from there. If you're coming down this weekend, be safe. Summertime's here. If you want to go fishing, get out in the morning early. You won't have any problems at all. Go out in the morning, and then it's going to probably get pretty rough in the afternoons here starting this weekend. So, it is what it is. Lake of the Ozarks. Summertime is here. We're going to have a lot of rain this weekend. So if you want to do some topwater fishing for bass, get down here. And then that'll probably keep a lot of the pleasure boaters off. So maybe you will be able to fish all day. So we'll see. You guys take care. Thanks for listening.